Good afternoon, meat suits. Welcome back to Read It and Weep. We are a podcast about movies and friendship. This is season 5, Kevin Bacon's Exquisite Corpse, and we're just 4 passengers on this runaway train waiting for a light to stop us. And we're playing a very long movie-watching game that you are in the middle of, and I'll talk more about that later. I'm your host, as always, Alex Falcone, recording from North Koreatown in Los Angeles, and I'm joined by an excellent panel of men in fake mustaches. First up, he's at Anthony Lopez Part 2 on Twitter in Southeast Portland. He talks with a heavy English accent, so he could be a fruitcake. It's Anthony Lopez.
Hey, fuck you. I'm from New York. We're all from New York today. There was a bomb scare in my house last night, but it turned out to just be a cantaloupe.
Oh, man. Now I gotta think of a new one for Ezra. God damn it.
That's
also joining us today, he's the co-host of the Old Gamers Almanac podcast from the woods of Brooklyn. He just got back from the bathroom because even great men have to pee. It's Hunter Donaldson.
That's what I got.
You take.
I wish he had like a really high pitched, like kind of silly sneeze, a big sneeze, loud high pitched sneeze.
I think that would be fun. Oh, is that a fake mustache you're putting on, Ezra?
Yeah, that's it.
For the YouTube listeners?
For the YouTube, yes.
We got a
More
lot for
YouTube bit.
YouTube.
Also, joining us from Northern California, he could speak English all along, and he was just messing with you. It's Ezra Fox.
Oh man, that's definitely goes to the part of the movie that does not age well.
Yeah.
There's like some of this still good, some of this not still good.
Nope.
Enjoy sorting
the
those
thing
out.
about a lot of things that were bad was like, wow, that sure was the 70s, except that's probably still what happens right now. Like the guy being like, what, we can't say anything at work anymore? That sounds familiar. That guy's still working
talk
there.
to the lady cops the whole time.
Yeah. There are parts that did not age as well. Like maybe they've been stuck in the tunnel this whole time. Before we get to the movie, though, I want to thank our meat buddies. I want to thank all of our meat buddies who keep the show going by donating to our Patreon, metreon.com, to go straight there. I want to thank especially Sean, who we're going to be doing a segment for the second time later today as part of Double Guilt May. But the guilt, you guys, this is news for you guys. The double guilt backfired a bit because Sean was so, I don't know, appreciative, tickled, or felt guilty about us doing the 2 segments that he increased his Patreon amount this week.
Oh no! Wait, so now he has double guilt also, or do we have more guilt for making him pay more money?
Maybe it's that thing where like where revenge never ends. It's like only causes people to have more revenge. It's like guilt only breeds more guilt. You can't ever stop it through being guilty.
I mean, that's really my mother's philosophy.
Yeah. What's really great about this tactic is we can see which one is more effective. As far as getting patrons.
No guilt or double guilt?
No guilt or double guilt.
Oh, we're A/B testing it. Yeah,
we are.
Meta,
Yeah.
That's so fun. We also got 2 new meat buddies this week that we'll be talking about in the coming weeks. So I do think double guilt paid off pretty well.
People want that guilt.
Can we start calling them sinners? That'll help. If we can call them.
We have 2 new meat sinners that we'll talk about this next week. If you've been meaning to donate for a while and the thing that you needed was twice as much guilt, do you realize that if everyone was just like you, the show would be over by now?
Let's just like keep going through things until we find everyone's individual like kink.
Oh yeah.
Just like next month, June is Bad Boys.
Oh,
dirty little bad boys.
What are you gonna do?
Whoa,
what's you gonna do?
Just
different kind of bad boys. I think.
You're a bad boy.
Oh,
not out there
you're a dirty
donating.
boy.
Yeah, you're a dirty boy. You're
so
dirty
naughty.
money giving us this
naughty
Patreon money.
listeners.
No.
Not
June is
giving
naughty
us
listeners.
money.
Naughty boys and bad boys, I think, are different demos, guys.
No, I think.
Okay, we'll do June and July
work.
then.
Naughty boys, bad boys.
Yeah.
I think we got to use
It's
reverse
Cowboy
psychology.
Month on Read It and Weep. All the cowboys are donating this month.
Yeah. Cowboys only, please. I want to hear those spurs.
If you want to feel double guilt by donating, you can do that by going to metreon.com. And we are confused, but we appreciate everybody who helps support the show.
You dirty, naughty little donator.
I know
bad,
you're out there. Nasty,
Naughty
no good.
All right,
you're
before we
so
start talking about
bad.
the movie, a quick check-in with the news. The news that we have to talk about this week is going to be non-national. We're going to go with local news, specifically local to Ezra and I. So our local news is some of you may have seen this. I talked about it on TikTok and Instagram this week, but I'll just want to catch you up because the book has been such an integral part of the podcast and vice versa that I want to just send a quick message out to you guys. So as you guys may remember, Ezra and I wrote a book 7 years ago. Nobody cared. And then, I mean, some of you, the listeners, cared. Very few people outside of this podcast cared. And then I made a video about it.
On this podcast cared also, to be fair.
That is fair. I think Hunter talked about not reading it last week. We did, which you should feel doubly guilty about. So back in February, March, I made a video about it on TikTok that went viral, and we sold a bunch of copies. We sold a lot. We were briefly Amazon bestsellers. And we just, like a week and a half ago, got our first real check from that. It takes kind of a while. We got our first real check, and we spent the bulk of it on normal things. I rent food. I donated a significant portion of it to a charity to help women in Texas. I have we've done most of the stuff. I bought a bunch of stupid shit. I got a new camera that's going to help me make better TikToks. Anyway, we did most of it, and we have a little bit left over that is part of we each got our own portion, but there's a little bit that belongs to the book. I think what I said on TikTok this week, it's enough that if you saw it on the ground, you'd be like, whoa, but not enough that you'd be like, that's a drug deal. I'm not touching it.
Okay.
It's in that little window. That's about how much money it is. And we want to do something because we got this money from being stupid on the internet, but with good intentions. We want to use it for something stupid and good-hearted that is on the internet. And so we are taking suggestions now. So I would like to hear your thoughts on what we should do with it. We have gotten some terrific suggestions. My favorite thing that I saw on TikTok, somebody said we should hire a clown to go to all of Mitch McConnell's events and stand just off to the side and just wave at him. Never do anything threatening, but everywhere Mitch McConnell goes, there's a clown just waving at him from a short distance. And I love that idea.
Things that Mitch McConnell already sees, he wouldn't even.
Yeah, he wouldn't even notice.
He already's like, oh, great. Now a clown is next to the devil.
There's going to be a clown standing next to Beelzebub.
I like the idea of the clown freaking out the devil that's following him, though.
Right, exactly. The clown's not allowed to talk. He can just wave, and so he would chase everybody else off. But then somebody else suggested hiring a clown for a different purpose, and now I'm skeptical. I think that maybe they're just a bunch of clowns on TikTok who are trying to drum up some business.
That is a key tenet of clown business models, though. It's like you really have to find someone to be a clown patron, as it were.
I think they're just trying to drive us to be like, look, just hire a clown for whatever your purposes are. We're available most days. We love the work.
They're just like mercenaries. You can hire them to do anything now. Like I hired this clown. He cleaned my kitchen.
Mercenaries. Oh my god. Yeah. Clown Mercenaries is the worst thing I've ever thought of, and definitely is going to be our next short film, Ezra.
Oh my god, yeah, this is the book now, right? This is the new book. This is another thing people want us to write another silly book.
A lot of people have suggested we should take this money and write another book, as if a couple $100 is the only thing standing between Ezra and I and another novel. It's not ideas plus months and months of work. It's really just like, man, I wish someone would pay me $100 and then I would write another novel.
I mean, that's all you need.
Obligation to Strangers would do this, actually, though. I think that is an extra push that I do need. Where it's like,
it might help.
I don't want to let these people down. I don't know yet.
I will say a lot of people have suggested I give it to them. I don't know why that has been a very popular idea. So I think it's weird. I understand that it's not super relatable to say that we have extra money. I just feel like the book came from us talking about it on the show. Like the TikTok was people participating in it and getting excited about it. Like it just feels like participatory money.
Yeah, I mean,
a lot of people suggested charity. Already gave a big chunk of mine to charity.
Alex, I mean, this is all very gauche. You're like, I got all this money.
It's not that much money. She'll say it's not that much money. A lot of people are like, build a statue of a mummy and put it in the middle of the ocean. It's like, this is not
what?
It's not drug deal money.
No, but no, seriously, you should probably put it in crypto.
Which crypto?
It's never been a better time to put it in crypto.
If you mention money on TikTok, you will get inundated with crypto scam comments, like where it's the same one 1,000 times using all the characters to try and not get caught by the filter. So I've heard the suggestion from a lot of people with default icons.
Print a Unwrap My Heart NFT or mint Unwrap My Heart NFT.
Sure.
You know. Get it on the blockchain.
Yep. Get the book on the blockchain. We got to do it.
On the chain.
Yeah.
I think probably our money would, because the thing about like minting NFTs now is that you do have to pay huge amounts of gas fees, I believe, which I don't totally understand how that works, but it just like costs you money for nothing. And so I believe we would spend our whole amount of money on making this thing that is not investable or smart.
Well, here's my question.
No, that's not true. That's not true. That's not true.
I have a copy of your book, and I can like pick it up and read it. But like when I'm in the metaverse and I want to read your book, I'm having trouble seeing it through the VR headset.
Yeah.
So if you like could make a metaverse copy of your book, metaverse publishing,
That's so
books
true,
you can only read when you're on the grid.
Another big flaw in the book as is that you can't resell it for more money than you bought it for.
No, that is definitely true. It definitely loses. It's like a car. It loses 90% of its value as soon as you take it off the lot.
I've been trying to hawk your book on the street every day. I got this one copy. I said it's a signed copy.
Please take it off my hands. Anyone want
I'm just trying, and nobody will give me any money for it, and I want more. Yeah. People keep asking me how much. I'm like, well, I don't remember how much I paid for it, so I want $50. That's what I said. I said I can't remember how much I paid for it, so I need $50 for profit.
Would it maybe if I just wrote non-fungible on your book, would that help?
No, because what makes it non-fungible? The blockchain, baby. You got to pay those gas fees, okay? Where the gas fees going? Don't worry about it, baby. Okay?
Can we write non-fungible because you could turn it into other stuff?
What?
So yes, fungible.
Yeah, non-fungible.
Super fungible.
It's yeah.
I mean, when I sell the book, the main thing, my main sales pitch is, if you want to funge this, go ahead.
Yeah,
it's yours. Once you buy it, you funge whatever you want. Yeah.
Listen, everything in the real world is fungible. Okay?
You could funge that duck that people are seeing if they're on YouTube.
It's all fungible. Okay. Yeah. What's great about the blockchain is it like if I put this on the blockchain. It would no longer be fungible. I mean, of course, this would, but the token associated with it, that would not be fungible.
Thing
unless,
there,
of course, it was stolen or if someone...
All right, well, I was going to try to use it for something fun, creative, and or helping people, but you've convinced me straight into crypto.
Yeah.
You got me.
Crypto,
you guys got me.
You can't spell fun without funge. Oh, wait, the other way.
I think...
Yeah, I mean,
you can't
Alex...
spell non-fungible token without fun.
I don't know if you've been following the news, but your hero and your namesake, the person you got your name after, Alex Jones, is having a lot of tough money issues right now. So maybe kick it down to him. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe if it's just an Alex fund where any other Alex could apply for some portion of this
too
money.
Many Alexes, man. Yeah. I don't. Let's see. Famous Alexes. Let's see.
When I was growing, this is a weird thing. When I was growing up, there were almost no Alexes. I was the only Alex I met for maybe 15 years. And now they're everywhere. And it turns out I was like one of the top 20 names of that year. And like, I just never saw them. I was a non-fungible Alex for a while, but now I'm funging all over the place.
And we want to make sure we're defining only ALEX, right? No other version of spelling of the name. No Alexander.
I'm technically an Alexander. I don't know. I don't know if I told you guys this.
You're not an Alexander. All right. I don't give a shit what your birth certificate says.
Yeah. For you guys, I'm an Alex. When I'm on jury duty, I'm Alexander, and that is always.
I don't care what your mom.
I
want
to know jury duty, Alexander.
Angry at you.
Yeah, me too.
I was going to talk about this until we had something else to talk about, but I did jury duty this week, and it was ridiculous. Real quick, the best part. They send you a form. Well, yeah, I didn't have to sit on a jury because they brought me in for the selection. And he was like, "This is going to be 26 business days. Is that a hardship for anybody?" Like. You're asking if I can handle 6 weeks of not getting paid? Are you kidding? I laughed. It was very funny when he told me how long I was. Anyway, so I got out for hardship, but
nice
because I had pre-existing travel plans.
Yeah. But who can? I mean, you bring up a solid point. Who's like, oh yeah, I got nothing for 6 weeks, bro.
Retired middle-class people is 100% of the jury pool, and that is not a good sign. Everything about jury duty made me feel like probably if you can avoid it, don't ever get in trouble with the law because it seems like a real shit show in there.
Yeah, the jury. That's definitely the biggest problem with the law and justice system in this country.
Every action they can.
6 weeks off you need for this job. Why isn't it? Why isn't there a very good reason to do this? Like, you know what I mean? When it comes to jury duty, why isn't there like some sort of why are you not incentivized to do it though in any way?
So they do in LA County. They pay you $15 a day.
That's not that's not what I'm talking about.
Plus 30 cents a mile one way. You're on your own.
One way.
You just live there now.
Isn't that insane?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. The sheer, I can't believe that.
It really felt insulting, so many of the things they did. They also, but just like the whole system is just so stupid. Like they sent me a form, a questionnaire I had to fill out, and it's like, enter your name and address on here on a form that they mailed to me. On the back of that form was my name and address, and they were like, "Here, could you write this down by hand?"
The other side.
Yeah.
It's like this. They ask you on the questionnaire if you're a registered sex offender, which seems like the name implies there's a registry you could check. Like, why is that on the honor system?
Please Google this for me.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's the unregistered sex offenders you got to worry about.
Keep the money on the stage, keep the money where it counts. Cheap out on the small stuff.
There was a sign in the jury room that was like, consider donating your stipend to jury projects. No explanation of what those are. And so it's like an insultingly small amount of money. And they're like, can you please give this back?
Yeah.
Wait. Anyway. Quick. Has there been a like jazz album yet that's called Registered Sax Offender?
I mean, I'm gonna guess yes, possibly from Parks and Rec. Maybe that would be a good one for Ron Swanson's sax
that would
career.
Be
but I would not recommend it.
It seems like this exists. Okay, I'm good.
Oh, it's already out there.
Let me Google that for you, Ezra. All right. Anyway, that's the news. So please write in podcast@read-weep.com, and I'd love to hear your suggestions on what we should do with a little bit, but not that much, extra money that is not going to go to charity because it's a creative business proposition.
What if we just set it on fire?
Yeah.
And then charge people.
It's a simple crime.
Charge people money to watch it get set on fire. I bet you could make more money.
This is an interesting proposition, actually.
Than just
setting money on fire.
Do it for charity.
Yeah.
I'm gonna light this money on fire, and you have to give me money to watch, and all the proceeds go to charity.
So it's like, all right, $15 a ticket to watch me light $100 on fire. And if I sell 10 tickets,
efficient.
Yeah,
it's a really efficient way of having a charity fundraising event, because that's basically what it is, right? You're paying money in order to get people to give you more money, and we could just cut out the actual doing things.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
I kind of like this.
This is very meta. I love it.
Yeah.
It is a federal crime to burn money, but I do like this idea.
Can we do money?
What
can you do to money?
Just say it isn't really money. Just say it's not money and wink at the camera a whole bunch. Say, like, I promise it's not really money. I would never do a federal crime.
All right. Well, I was going to try to keep this segment short because we have so much else to talk about. And I did not. So we got to get into our segment 2, the game. We are still doing stupid things for our cameras for YouTube. You can go to youtube.com/AlexFalcon and listen to all of our episodes there. And if you want, also see our stupid faces while it's happening. Okay, segment 2, the game. As you know, we're playing a year-long movie-watching game where each week we move from one movie to another movie that has the same actor in it. And then if we get that movie to one of the movies that we picked in our previous movie picking section, that person gets some points, which they can give to people whether they want them or not. This part should have gotten easier by now, and it has not.
I explained this to friends earlier this week. It has not gotten easier the more times I've done it.
You really got to check out this one from the beginning, this season of the show. Like, if you're confused, you need to watch the first one.
I gotta say, every year when we come up with the theme for the year, I'm like, this is the one. This is the one people are going to go ape shit over. This is our serial year, and this one might not have been the one. Anyway, it's been fun though. I'm enjoying it.
Next year, we're going to have Ezra kill someone. Maybe.
Oh, no.
And then we're going to debate it for a whole season.
Can we just eat cereal? Can we just eat cereal for the year?
No.
I like the food version better.
We need the views.
Allegedly, Anthony.
Allegedly.
Ezra. Well, that's the thing is, we're going to have Ezra kill someone. Or maybe not.
But his cell phone will be right near the murder. That's the important thing.
We're going to talk about it for a full year. And then the last episode will be us just going, So I don't know why we did this. We
Did
didn't get anywhere. We didn't figure anything out.
Do you guys listen to the new season of Serial that came out a couple weeks ago?
No.
It's super interesting. Some good reporting. There's like an interesting story. It's from about a story in the UK about and the ending sucks. They didn't get anything, and I was like, this is season 4. How did you get me again?
Right.
This is your main thing. Your main thing you're known for is a compelling season that ends with.
I mean,
and I still got suckered in.
That's amazing.
Serial is the podcast what Stephen King is the novels. Very, very good, well written, very prolific, just very bad at endings.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, it's just kind of like the thing he's most famous for outside of being like one of the most famous authors in the world is that he's never written a good ending because he doesn't plan stuff out. Same thing with Serial, right? They just sort of like start with a really good premise.
But don't worry, everyone listening to this episode, we've planned all this out, guys. We know exactly where this season's going. Anthony has a big plan.
Murdered somebody.
Yeah, you see this like giant green screen if you're watching on YouTube behind Hunter. You think that's just there for no reason? No, that was spent there. Yes, that's going to be the Deus Ex Machina at the end of the season that helps Ezra inspire and murder someone, setting up season 2.
Why do we have to make this season 2? Why can't we just say, as part of our year-long movie watching game, Ezra might have killed someone?
Can we do any other a better? Are there fun crimes?
Nope. This is the one.
Nope. No, I mean,
well, there's a kind of fun crime we might find out about today, because as a segue into our movie episode, this week we watched The Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3, the 1974 American crime drama film directed by Joseph Sargent, starring Walter Matthau.
Matthau.
I knew how to say it before I tried. Walter Matthau, who we know on this show, at least from Charade. Also Robert Shaw, who we saw in the show in The Sting. Martin Balsam, who we saw in this show in Psycho. And most importantly, Hector Elizondo, who we saw last week in Princess Diaries. This was Ezra. This was your choice, right?
No, I set it up. I didn't pick it.
Oh, you set it up, but this is Hunter's pick. Hunter, you have selected The Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3 from 1974, which was Anthony's pre-selected point movie. We'll talk about the points in a bit, but this was a multi-week setup to get us here. Let me give you guys a quick summary in case you've not seen this movie, either of the two movies it came after it, or the book that it was based on of the same name.
I need you to deliver this in, because as I alluded to earlier, this is maybe the most New York movie I have ever seen in my everyone's attitude.
This movie
is so 1970s New York.
Yeah,
yes, exactly.
This movie is walking here.
So if you can give me just a little bit of
Come on.
I'm walking here attitude when you deliver this. Come on.
Come on.
I need you to give me just a little bit. Just give me a little bit of pepperoni on this pizza.
Every time you give me a challenge for these, Anthony, it hurts me because you know I can't do it. And then you're setting me up for failure.
Anthony believes in you. Anthony's your friend and wants you to succeed and is trying to challenge you.
Look, he's got to be a little bit crotchety, a little bit short, you know.
Okay, you guys, let me do this shit. Let me just summarize the show for you. This is the movie that we're watching here, okay?
I'm watching here.
The 4 men, they're wearing matching coats. They got hats. They got fake mustaches. They're suspiciously gun-shaped packages. They all board the downtown 6 train in Manhattan at 4 different stops because they believe that in New York in 1974, 4 guys wearing the same coat would be too weird for New Yorkers. They would have freaked out. They got to get on at different stops, otherwise it's too obvious.
Yeah, it's really good. I'm swept away.
You might be thinking, are these guys part of improv everywhere? No, these are the 3 bad guys and 1 pretty good guy. He's a train conductor, turned bad guy,
over me.
and the 4 guys together, they're gonna go hijack a train, right? Not an airplane for these guys. No, they're going underground. They're gonna hijack a train. They're promising to murder 1 hostage every minute. Do you believe this? Every minute they murder 1 hostage, and then they get $1 million.
Alex Falcone, the man of 2 voices now.
Wow. We have a character, ladies and gentlemen.
Bravo.
This is one of the only characters I feel like, as a Falcone, I can play that's not super offensive. This feels like that is a thing I'm allowed to do, okay? Anyway, so they get on the train, they want to hijack, going to kill people. You get it. There's some back and forth over the radio. There's some classic 70s racism, chauvinism. What are these broads doing at work? There's that stuff. It's the 70s.
I can't believe it.
I can't believe. Oh, I can't say anything at work anymore. That stuff. The stuff that we're definitely over in the year 2022. And then the city of New York, this is the crazy part. They agree to pay the money. They're like, only 2 people have died. That's enough. We'll pay the $1 million. We'll go ahead and do it. We'll do it in the bills you want. We'll do it as fast as you want. We'll do our best. Okay. So then the men in the jackets, they put the money in the coats. They put them just in the coats. Just put the money right there. Then they take off the mustaches, which you got to admit, a fake mustache in the 70s, a lot more effective than it would be today. At the time, today,
you got to admit,
disguise. Yeah. But back then, very disguised. Anyway, so he takes off his disguising mustache. They try to climb out the train. They slap it on the butt like a cowboy, and it like horses away. And they're like, yeah, we got out of this train. And we'll fool everybody. And they fool almost everybody. But a cop with a yellow tie and a little gun, he's like, I think they're getting out of the grate. We got to go over that grate. The grate, when you walk in New York, you don't want to step on the grate. You feel like you're going to fall in. It's for getting out of the subway after you robbed it and then getting shot by a cop. So anyway, they kill everybody except the one robber. They get rid of the loose cannon. They kill the guy who's in charge and is British. Or they almost kill him, and then he steps on the rail. Anyway, they're mostly all dead. The only survivor is the innocent motorman, the guy who you want to get away with it. And then he can do it. He can get away with it. All he has to do is not be a complete gabagool. That's all you gotta do to get away with this. Just not be an idiot, And I'll just leave it there. It's up to you to figure out what happens. I don't want to spoil anything.
What happened?
But it would just be so easy to not, at that point, to get away with it, very easy,
That's very good. That's very, very good.
I've never interrupted you.
I loved it. I loved it.
I feel like if you'd interrupted me, I would never have gotten it back.
Well,
so
one critique. Gabagool is a term of endearment.
Oh, that's good.
It is not foolish. Everyone loves gabagool.
What's an insult?
You know what the word no, you know what gabagool is, right?
No.
What exactly is gabagool?
It's like cold cut. Like cold cut, like deli meat.
Yeah.
Like gabagool.
Well,
you never watched The Sopranos?
Yeah, I know from this. I thought it was like an idiot. But what's a Sopranos insult?
I don't know. Probably
Anthony, idiot. I don't know. That's usually
I don't have
straight to the point.
Yeah, they get straight to the point. And also,
that's a pretty big insult in The Sopranos.
A rat? You can call
a rat?
A rat?
Yeah, he doesn't want to be a rat. There was also rats. It's a subway. There's a lot of rats down there. Okay.
Yeah, they're so
anyway, that's taking Pelham 1, 2, 3.
That was literally the closest you've ever gotten to simulating what it's like to watch the movie.
Yeah, I felt like
that
was
basically watching.
That was really
the film. That
it was
really
pretty much like that. I mean, my favorite part of the New Yorkiness of it is that they've like hijacked a train and they call over the radio, and the radio dispatcher is a dick to him the whole time.
Yeah, right.
He's never nice to the kidnapper. He's never like worried about what'll happen. He's like, "You fucking idiot! You gotta get your head checked out. What are you doing, robbing a train?" It was great. That was the best part.
What's crazy about that guy is he never really grasped the situation. Like the entire movie, his opinion, if they stopped and was like, what do you think we should do? He would have just been like, just let them all die or whatever. Like he had no plan. He's just like, don't give them the money because fuck them. Like that's all he had in his heart.
And I just want to also, by the way, quick sidebar, Alex, now that you've established that precedent, when we get to Happy together, you're going to have to do something very similar, and it's going to go really badly for you.
Well, look, I don't care what if you want me to summarize what was the submarine movie? If you want me to do that, it's going to sound like this. This is my only voice I've got. So if you want me to go back and summarize Battleship Potemkin, it's going to be like, so these guys they're on a submarine. They're on a big old battleship, Anyway.
But yeah, can I just, I'm going to go out there on a limb, and I'm just going to say this. This movie fucks. This movie slaps. This movie is totally Kino. This movie is incredible.
I will just ask you next time you do that, Anthony, if you do a run of hip slang like that, you should make up at least one of them.
Yeah.
Just throw one in the middle that is just you riffing
this
right
movie
there.
Is gabagool.
This movie's totally gabagool.
Movie's gabagool.
This movie is very Shaw.
It was good.
Wait. What's that, Alex? What you thought it was good, but you weren't blown away by this movie? I love this movie.
Oh,
I
interesting.
thought this movie was incredible. I thought the filmmaking was great. The score is incredible. This is definitely another one of those movies that we've done a few of these where it's just like you can feel this movie's fingerprints in so many movies since then. Like it's very hard to kind of appreciate, but especially like the score of this movie. The way this movie is scored was very, very revolutionary at the time. A lot of movies have stolen the way this score is very propulsive. It literally sounds like a train the entire time it's going. It's really neat. It's very clever. I thought, like I said, the filmmaking was great. I thought Robert Shaw is always incredible. Obvious stuff like the criminals all having code names based off colors is something that, like, Reservoir Dogs outwardly straight up stole. A lot of this stuff has been adapted. I think it is like it's still a cool premise even in today's world, because even in the 70s, hijacking a subway train is a crazy stupid idea. Right? It literally doesn't make any sense. But that's what's like kind of fun, because it's so like wildly out there. You just can't wait to see, like, okay, these guys are professionals. They obviously know what they're doing. They have a plan. Like, you can't wait to see what their plan is, even if it's kind of
you get the like as a
satisfying.
viewer. Yeah, I mean, it's so one thing that's weird about a movie like this is that like the movie I think only is interesting if you're rooting for the criminals. Like, you have to be kind of on their side.
Oh yeah, there's no way you can root for the cops in this movie. Like,
no, you can't.
No way.
But then also the criminals do just kind of murder some people, and it's like, well, you're not that fun.
Well, but who? I mean, come on, you know who you're actually supposed to root for, which is the guy with the cold,
the motorman. Yeah, you're rooting for the motorman. He seems like the only. Although he's also kind of like, he's sort of like not clear whether he's good. Like, he's like, oh, I just got framed.
Yeah.
He's not a good
clearly
guy.
lying about that. He's clearly.
I think he's lying about that, and also he's just such a dipshit in the end of the movie, where he's like, "I got my $1 million. I'm just gonna go sit in my house and wait for someone to knock on the door."
Well, you're not just sitting in your house. He's rolling around. He's Scrooge McDuck.
Sure, he's rolling around in his pile of money, which you do, but you don't do it at your own apartment that's on file with the anyway.
Yeah.
But so I mean, I feel like this reminds me a lot of what was it? Inside Man, is that the bank robbery one?
Yeah, Spike Lee.
Spike Lee, yeah. Like, I'm like, good time, interesting the whole time, but also just feels like the whole point of this is what a fun crime plot, like what an interesting crime I have developed that's not real, and I just like, it's nice, but it just feels a little bit hollow afterwards. Like, I feel like this was a very well executed genre piece, and it felt kind of like, cool, okay, this is not going to stick with me. I'm not.
The movie's not about anything for you, I guess.
It's just, I think it's about the crime and not about, I mean, like, well, especially, so this movie is a lot like Dog Day Afternoon, including referencing Gattaca. It has James Broderick in it. It's got a lot of that same vibe to it, except in that one, the characters are so interesting that I really care about them. The leader of this gang, you're just like, oh, he was a mercenary in Africa. He's like a racist colonialist.
We got no reasons for like we got no motivation for anything, which is just like, I think just technically it's like really strong, right? And that everything moves really well. And it's just like it feels like, oh man, this is a well put together thing. But I think if you made this again, if you try to make this today, they would really try to shoehorn a lot of bits and pieces about why we should care about all the, what is this actually like representing, like why is this interesting conflict, and I think they did that in Inside Man, where it's like it was actually about like like Nazi gold theft, like at the end, right? But it's
like Dog Day Afternoon, which is about like this point in American culture, like reflected through this crime. This is just a straight up procedural genre piece.
It's a procedural genre piece, and I think it's really good at that, and I had a good time, but it does feel like just a little bit hollower than if it had something to say about something, or if the characters were something that I like felt more attached to. And we got so little of everybody. I mean, they're interestingly different. They're sharply displayed, like the guy who got kicked out of the mob, and there's always a loose cannon in a gang of robbers. And he's a good loose cannon. I hate him. He does a racist thing, so we hate him for being racist. Like, we get the stuff from him. We know he's not going to make it in the end. He just got kicked out of the mob. How do you, like, one of the things I liked about Reservoir Dogs is that there's a little bit about how you start putting together a crime like this. And this one is just like, these four people, how did these four people have, like, what were the meetings like to arrange all this? Because Loose Cannon must have been a dick at dinner when they were planning this this caper. Like, I really want to know, how did the like racist colonialist general, how did he end up with mostly innocent motorman who just wants to get back in the so who came up with the plan? How did they draw it out? I just think there's so many interesting things that I didn't get to grasp my mind into. Instead, it was just like, these are fun, pretty pictures. This is a nice, fun, tight time.
It's pulpy.
It's a little pulpy. It's a little pulpy. It's very good at that, but it just felt a little pulpy.
I mean, that's kind of one of the things I sort of really appreciated about this movie, is that I think especially because, since this movie, so many filmmakers have been like, well, I want to go deeper on this sort of thing. I want to take this basic template and I want to like dig into it. What I really like about this movie that I find refreshing, like I think if someone did this today, it would be considered refreshing, is that it's like they stripped away everything that you normally get in a heist movie. And it's kind of like this circular thing where like this movie comes out and for 40 years you have filmmakers taking this movie and adding all this stuff to it, getting us to like kind of the current modern heist film. And I think if you took like the current modern heist movie and stripped everything away that was not just the crime itself, and this is 2 hours in New York City, in which this crazy crime happens, and that's the entire story. You don't get anything more than that, right? I think like that would be seen as like, oh my God, look at this like incredibly stripped down, elegant movie. They took all the fat of the modern heist movie and they stripped it down to its bare essentials. And I think like to me, that's what I really found interesting about this movie is how little it gives you, how like much it is just. Like I said, this movie probably only takes place over. I mean, at the end, it's implied a few hours pass as they're like going and knocking on doors.
Right.
But until then, it's almost like real time.
It's pretty close to real time. Yeah.
Just like this little like 90 minutes.
It's really
of
tight.
This chaos.
It does remind me a lot of like 70s pulpy things that I've read before or watched before. It just has that, and I'm glad you said the word pulpy because it really helps me like articulate, which is that it's cool and I like it, and I'm not going to think about it very often after this in a way that I do think about Dog Day Afternoon more. I think because that like the characters in Dog Day Afternoon are so incredibly interesting, and the ending feels so powerful, whereas the ending of this is like basically just a joke. It's a great joke, but it is kind of a joke. Yeah, it's a great final shot, but it is a joke, and it is meant to make you like, ha, I think, and not like really stick with you for a long time.
Yeah, no, the ending is hilarious. That last shot is, I mean, it essentially just decides to be a punchline for the movie. For me, there was maybe a little more here than maybe for y'all, because one thing I liked about this movie
better. Subway every day.
Yeah, and guess what? It looks just like that. It hasn't changed at all. It looks exactly the same. I was like, when was this movie made? Was this movie made a couple years ago? Apparently it was in the 70s. Apparently this movie was made in 1974, but you need to tell some of these stops that. God, I was in a stop the other day in Manhattan, and it was just me and a friend, and no one else was there, and it was unbelievable. It was like any scene from this movie, except imagine there's no one else around. So you're like, should we be here? Is a train coming? Like, is this abandoned? Anyways, one thing I like about this movie as compared to Dog Day Afternoon is how it feels like there's a subtle critique of basically just the NYPD and like the mayor and like the way it's not a very in-depth critique because the whole movie is very pulpy, but I just respect a movie that's about a tragedy where everyone involved in trying to solve it, they're not really acting in good faith. A lot of them are just using this as an opportunity to do stuff. The mayor is literally like a rich man like lying in a bed being like, oh, $1 million? I'm gonna have to pay $1 million. I don't know, should
like
I?
A King Edward sort of vibe. Like he's got a
he
cold,
has to be like convinced.
Being fed grapes.
Right. This movie script is super funny. It has a lot of great jokes in it. But one of my favorite is like the mayor's entire motivation is 17 more votes. Yeah. Right? Like that is why he wants to save these people's lives.
I think
like,
one of my favorite jokes, and I can't remember whether it was the mayor or somebody else, who's like, can we just give him the train? We have plenty more.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
We just got a lot of trains.
Yeah. What do we care if there's another
Like they really want Pelham 1, 2, 3. Let them take it. We don't need it.
Let them have it. Let them have it. So I mean, I don't know. I like that. In Dog Day Afternoon, even the police are like, I don't know. They're like technically they're doing the right thing. I mean, like you empathize with the robbers, but at the end of the day, they're the sort of heroes of the story in that they succeed in the end. And I find the way that the structure was depicted in this movie was more believable to me, and also I didn't have to deal with like being like, oh, these cops are the good guys that I'm somehow supposed to be like, oh, I hope they succeed. It's like, I don't know. I didn't care if anybody succeeded in this movie. I just wanted the sneezing guy to get away.
Yeah.
Nobody
I really
did.
love that like everyone, except for Walter Matthau's character, and even him to a little bit of extent, is like everyone involved in sort of like the law and the bureaucracy side, their only concern is passing the buck as fast as they can.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Everyone,
that
even
stuff.
like the cops who have to like get the money, the way they're like, man, we're gonna get fucking blamed for this.
Yeah.
Sucks. Like, I don't want to be here. Like, I'm not gonna get shit for this.
Right.
All right.
Yeah,
And
that's
it's
true.
just,
I like that part of it.
Everyone has that mentality to it, and I just think that is really, really funny.
So I know this is true of Inside Man, and I suspect it's true of this too, where the original book was somebody going, I have an idea for a caper. Like, I wonder if this would work, but I don't actually want to rob banks. So it's easier to write a movie about someone robbing a bank than it is to rob a bank, and the risk is much lower. So you just come up with a fun idea of like, this might actually work to get away with robbing a bank. And I feel a little bit like that with this, where this is like, the author of the original book probably was like, this might work. Like, I have an idea for how you could hijack a subway, and it might kind of work. And that's a fun thing. And I think we've all at some point sat around going, what would our crime, like, how could we get away with a crime?
You got to think, in the late in the 60s and the 70s, like hijacking airplanes was such a common occurrence.
Yeah, and it's 100% different than it is now. That's the craziest thing, is like 9/11 ruined hijacking for everybody.
Yeah. It used to be, I mean, especially in the 60s and 70s. Like, it sounds ridiculous to be like planes were getting hijacked all the time, but they actually were. There were a lot of them,
and the official policy was just like, do what they say. So somebody would get on a plane and be like, take me to Cuba, and they'd be like, all right, fine. And then they would take you to Cuba, and then you get off the plane, and the Cuban government would like take them into custody, and we'd never see them ever again.
Except for our hero and legend, D.B. Cooper, who we all stand. Maybe the greatest criminal to ever live.
Well, right. So D.B. Cooper could have just written a movie, and he would still be alive today if he had that brilliant idea for a caper and then just made a movie instead of doing it.
He might still be alive today. We don't know.
Nope. But we do know. But also, that's like D.B. Cooper's is like a very good, clever hijacking where no one gets hurt, except in this case him. But if he had written that as a movie, it would have been really solid. Yeah. There was a real bank robbery where I think near Seattle, like in the 80s or 90s, where the person like put out an ad in the paper that was like, I need a licensed electrician, pays really well, show up in blue coveralls at this parking lot at this time and we'll hire you. And so then like 50 people showed up in blue coveralls at that parking lot at the time that he also showed up from robbing a bank in blue coveralls. So they were all like, none of us robbed this bank. We're all innocent. Like, there are occasionally like really good ones in real life. And I like that part of it. It does appeal to me a lot, for sure. Ezra, what do you think about this? I feel like you've been quieter.
Yeah,
this time.
I'm trying to think through it.
This movie, like, did it kino for you?
Did it slap
your fuck?
No, pass. I think so. Yeah, this was a weird movie because it felt like it's like the first time I'd seen it, and yet I'd seen it a lot of times in different ways. So like the echoes of it were weird. I think this was generally fun. And I tried a thing based on a book I was reading. Let's see, was it called like 4,000 Weeks, like time management for mortals? And it's basically saying like our attention, ironically enough, is always hijacked by stuff. And so it's like, hey, just do like see what it's like to just do like one thing at a time and like cut off purposely all the other possibilities of things. And I was realizing like the thing I was missing from having that movie experience is just like, oh, I'm actually only doing one thing at a time when I'm watching a movie in a movie theater, right?
Yeah.
And so today I had it like actually not on my phone, like sort of like like huddled in like a like 5 minutes at a time, instead I actually watched a movie as a movie. And that on its own is very good. I would recommend watching movies and only watching the movie at the same time at normal time speed.
This without you didn't do it 10 minutes at a time while you were on a treadmill, and it was a better experience.
Speed.
That's
no,
crazy.
It's really interesting. Yeah, it's like they do some good stuff with volume and the screen sizes. It's really impressive.
Wait. At this point in the show, you want to take a little time to recommend movies.
Yes,
like
the movie viewing experience that I haven't been doing.
Movies when you're not on the treadmill.
Well, I mean, treadmill's fine, but I think just, generally, like, when doing one thing at a time, I guess is what I'm really recommending. So whatever the thing is that you're doing,
Ezra,
just do that.
Your thing is, for the last few years, you've been trying to, like, just have Chris Nolan wake up in cold sweats in the middle of the night.
Yeah,
I've
been trolling him remotely.
Your psychic energy of only watching movies on your phone at 2 times speed while on a treadmill.
Yeah, like 5 minutes, like the director intended.
Yeah, it's like you're psychically blasting Chris Nolan somewhere in the world.
You know what's interesting about this argument, though, is like, I know you're joking, Anthony, and obviously Chris Nolan's the wrong guy, but what we are suggesting is that Ezra is the reason Quibi existed.
Yeah,
that was literally Katzenberg going, you know who our target audience is? Ezra Fox. He's going to watch it for 5 minutes on 2x speed on the treadmill on his phone. Let's make a whole channel for him.
Let's get him.
I think they did not quite estimate correctly how many Ezra Foxes there were in the world. They're not so many.
Yes, I think they may have overestimated the number of views, but I think that's what they were going for. The last thing I think we need to talk about to make sure we really get a full version of this movie is because this movie is so much about the New York City subway system that I have called in an expert. Hunter, you're new there. So we got an expert on subway. Guy's been riding the subway for a very long time, maybe his whole life. At least I know he's ridden the subway today. So we have a very special guest. We're going to bring him here in the next segment. So stick around for that. Okay, we have a very special guest now for a very special segment. We wanted to learn more about the New York City subway. And Hunter, you are too new. You don't have,
no idea. I don't even know how it works.
Scratched the surface of this underground
system. People ask me,
system.
like, what's my stop? I don't even know what that means.
Right.
It stops? Where does it stop?
Have you just been tucking and rolling while it's still moving?
I just walk. I pick a direction. I walk in New York until I see a subway sign, and then I just get in there.
Yeah. Well, so we wanted to bring in a more expert person. We want to bring in a longtime New Yorker. So joining us, welcome back to the program, Myq Kaplan, spelled nothing like you'd expect. Myq, thanks for hanging out.
Thank you so much. I am very passionate about the subway system. I used to be a Blimpies man. Like growing up, I would almost every week get like a foot long at Blimpies. But since becoming vegan, look how long I went without telling you. But I love that Subway is actually one of the places that, it's not my first go-to, in the city, but on the road. It's a great, they always have vegetables. You can always get lettuce, tomato, different kind, banana peppers. Like I think I had my first banana peppers at a Subway.
What's nice about Subways too is that like they're hidden in places. Like you'll go into other stores and find a Subway, which is nice.
Yeah.
You can't do that with a lot of other places. Walk into a place and find something else, Yes.
It was my intention to talk about the New York City subway.
No, Alex, this is better.
System.
Yeah. I'm hijacking this subway conversation, Alex.
Of course you are.
I really do want to. I will be happy.
I'm
gonna
eat a sandwich every minute until I get $1 million.
Subway. That's what all movies should be called, and they should all be sponsored by Subway. I'm not working
like
for
Gilmore.
Subway. What's that?
Like Happy Gilmore.
Oh yeah, it did have a Subway.
Sponsored by Subway.
Mm-hmm. But here's the thing is, one time I did do a commercial it was through Comedy Central. It was like one of the first paying like comedy televised gigs that I received. It was back in, I don't know, must have been between 2008 and 2012. I don't remember, but I still have the videos, I think on my website, where they wanted a comedian to help advertise they had a Scrabble game, the way that like Monopoly used to be at McDonald's. That Subway was like,
was their response was like, if people love Monopoly, what they really want is their sandwich comes with a J.
Yeah. I don't remember how the game worked, but they were just like, can you write 30-second jokes about Scrabble? Not even about Subway. I'm like, yeah, I love Scrabble. I wrote one about how my grandmother taught me to play Scrabble, and we played for money. If I won, I got a quarter, and if I won by more than 100, I got $1. And so it's just like, slow inheritance creep. And
it was just outwit like tax inheritance
right.
right.
You can give up to $3,000 in a gift at one time, but up to $5,000 in gambling
Scrabble.
on board games.
Well, yeah, I was about to say
winnings,
technically this is prize winnings, so that's kind of
totally different.
Unless she was taking a dive.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I was better than her at it. She won sometimes, but I mean,
100
she
points
taught
would
me
be
as well,
crazy.
so. Yeah. I mean, she loved me, so who knows? She could have been, an omniscient, divinely enlightened Buddha, and was just like, it'll be fun for him to win more. The dollar it meant a lot more to me than it did for her.
Yeah, true.
But anyway, the point is, I love my grandmother, and I was happy to do these ads for Subway because I love telling people about a product that I actually engage with and enjoy. One time, I'm sorry to hijack this Subway conversation and make it about a different kind of food, but do you guys know, there's a vegan version of Doritos called Beanfields. The Beanfields chips, they've got nacho, they have sour cream and onion, they used to have ranch, I don't know why they got rid of that, they used to have barbecue, they keep going through and getting rid of my favorite flavors, but they still have a ton of them. And one time I was interviewed in a Veg News magazine, and they were like, you love Beanfields? We should tell Beanfields about it. And then Beanfields sent me a box of just 25 big sized bags. I just took a picture of myself like Scrooge McDuck swimming in Beanfields fake Doritos. Also just recently found out there is one Dorito, the spicy Thai chili purple bag Dorito, is accidentally vegan, incidentally, or coincident, whatever it is, coaxial cables hooking up to, those are vegan
sometimes
Doritos.
Vegan things like Myq and Ike's, where it's like they would have loved to put cow in here if they could
couldn't
afford
figure
it.
out a way. Yeah.
This is only because they were forced to by the fact that these products were the most efficient for that product, not because they actually care about it. I did an ad I did a show. First thing I did during COVID, first digital show that I got offered during COVID, was also one of the highest paying, and it was for a vegan junk food company, which I will not name because they're not paying me this time. And they were like, we're going to do this. They had 5 comics. They paid us all very handsomely. They sent us 2 huge cases of the snacks before the show. They did a big Facebook Live show. 3 people watched that show, and I know one was my dad. Just no idea how to get and Facebook Live shows you the number of viewers. So we're the whole time we're just like, no one is watching this show. You spent $10,000 maybe putting the show together for 3 people. That's like $3,000 a person. You are advertising. It cannot
Alex,
be.
is your dad an influencer?
He's influenced me in many ways. I can't.
Okay, so clearly, right? The circle's complete.
Yeah.
Influencer of one. And also it's Facebook Live, so the other 2 had to be Russian bots. There's no way. There's no way that
those bots
3
influencers?
people.
Well, the bots
Absolutely
might
not.
actually be purchasing a large amount of vegan junk food, but I just want to feel like part of the conversations. I've also done ads for vegan junk food.
I'm glad that you did, and also if they ever come back and ask you for any references, I can probably guarantee to double their viewership because I have a mom and a dad that I think would watch.
Whoa.
I don't know. I don't mean to flex on you. I don't know what your mom, dad, other parent situations might be. Non-binary,
Alex,
what have you.
My mom was around, but not a fan, so she didn't watch.
Whoa.
I want to go back to the Scrabble thing, Mike. Do you remember any of the jokes you custom wrote for Subway for Scrabble?
That's a great question. I think I wrote one that I feel like is now. I was not being disingenuous, but the idea was that they named their game about words something that is really hardly even a word at all.
Right.
And then I think it is technically a word, but it's when's the last time you said Scrabble and weren't talking about like scramble? Absolutely. You know what I mean? Like
jumble. I think I might have been trying to say scramble and I messed up.
Yeah.
Would be the last time I said it on not in the context of a game.
So, and I know that there was some joke that I shoehorned in about Battleship, but I don't remember what it was. But I'm pretty sure I could go back, and it exists. It's online, and I don't feel I mean, they are getting extra advertising now out of that original. Like, I mean, not that I want a lifetime supply of Subway sandwiches. I think I've got, I've had, if I've had all the Subway that I've ever had in my life, and I never have Subway again, Dayenu. I don't know if that's a reference. Is everybody a Dayenu person? For your listener, I don't know if you've got non-Dayenu listeners out there. There's a Jewish concept, a Jewish word, a Jewish song that here's a kind of a Dayenu joke that I don't get to do that often for very obvious reasons. But my previous understanding of Dayenu was like that would be enough. Like even if we didn't, even if I loved Subway the most, just I'm grateful for all the Subway that I've had, even just one, even the littlest bit would be enough. And then I was talking to a friend, Zach Sherwin, another wonderful comedian and more, and his mom was a rabbi, so he grew up with more Jewish knowledge, sort of, flowing around him. And he told me, actually, like even more specifically, it's not just that would be enough, but even like the smallest piece of the smallest piece, if even not the whole thing that we have experienced, but just the smallest piece of what we have experienced, like, one tomato of a Subway sandwich, like of all the Subway sandwiches then that would be enough. And I was like, oh, wow. So I guess I didn't have the whole idea of Dayenu correct, but even with just the smallest piece of the idea of Dayenu that I had, I think that was enough. And now I'm glad to have even more Dayenu in my life. But yeah, so the point is, I do think that those Scrabble jokes, I imagine they hold up. I haven't watched them in a little while, but yeah, if you're curious, I think that'd be a funny show. I think a funny idea for a segment of a show. Like this will be your or our, carpool karaoke with coffee or what have you.
This is a breakout segment for sure. We're gonna stop traffic in LA to do it,
and that'd be great for the car portion of it. Absolutely. But the idea is to ask a comedian about a joke that they haven't done in years and see if they can remember it, and then put it side by side with like the recorded album or special version of it to see how, like, you had a joke once about Scrabble. Name that joke, like the opposite of name that tune. Like you get one note and have to sing the whole song, and you can't.
I like that Dayenu joke. I also, from being a guest at Passover meal, yes, Seder, yes, lovely concept, and also extremely catchy song that still sometimes just comes into my head at non-Passover times. I'll just be in the shower and it'd be like, because it's just really bumping. It gets everyone's involved, and at least the one I was
everyone
at.
in the shower is involved in the song.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people get involved in my showers.
Well, just one of them would be enough, but I'll take everybody.
It is catchy. It's a real earworm. In fact, I'm now surprised that I have a joke I'm telling about the dreidel song these days at times, and at times I've said like it's certainly by far the Moby Dick of songs in the Jewish faith. Like what was Herman Melville's second most popular book? Can you name any other? I mean, he probably wrote other things.
The Scrivener.
I was going to say Billy Budd is also up there, but so yes, we can, but maybe normal people can't.
But also, yeah, if you ask a bunch of people to name Herman Melville works, like it'd be weird if they didn't go Moby Dick first.
Yeah. No, that would be weird. Yeah, if you opened with Billy Budd, that would be strange. But also, this is why it's more fun to do stand-up where only you have a mic versus the other assholes around you, because we're contributing maybe not that helpfully.
No, I
your point is right.
I think it's helpful.
The best.
No,
song.
You're correct. Yeah.
And all I want to say is that I think I like the Dayenu song better than the dreidel song. Maybe I've heard the dreidel song too much. Maybe it's like, got radio play. And maybe if
you've had Dayenu on the dreidel song for sure.
Oh yeah. Yes.
Dayenu is also the perfect concept to explain and then use as a callback for the rest of the day. It's a very useful concept for that.
It's way more applicable than the other Passover song, Had Gad Yat, which is about a little goat, which is not super relevant in most people's lives. Most of the time.
I don't have a mini goat song or I don't need to play a mini goat song very often. Maybe if I was playing with the Island board game. Those are sheep. Never mind.
If you just like soaping yourself up in the shower though, you're just like talking about the little goat as you're doing it. I feel like
I don't like that.
Also,
I don't like where this went.
A lot.
If people, so one of the reasons Myq is here today to talk to us is because you're doing a show on June 12th at Helium in Portland. And I just want to say, if you're listening to this and you're like, is the entire hour about Jewish folk songs? Yes or no?
Oh, the answer is it could be, but it's not. And the entire here's what the entire hour is about: my history with and hopeful improvement in life, relationships, particularly a focus on the relationship I'm in now with a woman who is not Jewish but loves Jewishness, and so because the whole hour is about her and it is by me. It is not all about Jewish folk songs, but in some way, a lot of the hour is itself like the modern day comedian equivalent of a Jewish folk song. If that's the kind of thing that sounds like it would be interesting to you, and if you're like, I don't think I'd like to see that, then absolutely it's nothing like that. Nothing about that at all. There are just some jokes about Jewishness that are told in a Jewish way like this because I love my girlfriend.
If we were to let you go right now, that would have been enough. But I do want one more thing before you go. I do want to come back briefly to the actual New York City subway system, because you ride the New York City subway every day. And I just want to know what your thought is on how they would react today to somebody trying to hijack a car.
I mean, I think, great question. I did ride it today already twice to go to lunch with a friend and back for this very podcast. I mean, there are so many things that go on the train that I feel like most New Yorkers or most people riding the train are accustomed to, like showtime, like, dance performances.
Yeah, where they hang on the bars and they do a slow-mo dance.
Yeah,
are we allowed to like that, or is that like a giveaway that you're a tourist if you kind of like the dancing?
I mean, you really have to feel bad for not giving them a tip when you just got $1 million ransom, right? You're like shoving
here's the
money
one,
in your
right?
coat pocket, and you're like, "No, man, I don't have any change on me. I'm sorry, I don't. I only have the big bills. I can't."
I just drag over one of the bodies that they're not going to strip down all the bodies of the money. So just like, look, our buddy got killed. You can strip his corpse.
There's $250,000 in here. Just go through his pockets. I do feel like, because they do the showtime thing a lot, is like when it's crossing under the river and it's a long time between stops. So I feel like as soon as it's hijacked and you're like, we're going to be here a while, that's showtime immediately. We got the full. We're going to do the long version of the dance now because we're going to be down here for an hour waiting for this ransom.
Oh, yeah. I mean, so I think that's like, I'm delighted when it happens, as long as I'm like far enough away from their feet, because like I'm like, where did they get trained? Like how many empty trains do they do this on before they make sure that their feet aren't going to be where my face is?
Do you have a dance studio with a mock-up of a subway car where you can walk through the things without hurting anybody? This is a great question.
I hope so. I assume so. I imagine.
Are there wide varieties of skill level in the dance, or are they all good? Do you see anyone who's like, oh, this troupe is like interning still?
I think every troupe seems like they mostly seem like they're good. Like some of them have extra skills, like to be able to like make a hat go from their head to their foot, then back to their head out their hands. Like I feel like I'm impressed by just me saying that, that's what I can do. I can be like, what, hat, foot, hat? Absolutely. I think that sometimes they do have like groups with like, younger people who are maybe more in training, and they do more like dancing on the ground than spinning on the poles and hanging from the rafters. But this is all to say, like, so many people, I'm delighted by it. I look at them, I tip them. I tried, if I have, dollars, like I like to give anybody who seems like they need it. But then so many people on the New York subway become desensitized, and so just sort of shut down. I feel like if a train was hijacked, they would have to really, like, I've heard that Chris Rock, like when in his comedy, like he's like, I say things 3 times because people aren't always paying attention, or they're ordering a drink or whatever, or they're drunk or whatever. So he's like, he says things 3 times. He says things 3 times, not me. But that's also it's a little bit that I came up with, and also I think Andy Kindler might do a version of that he might have come. He might be the originator of the make fun of Chris Rock saying things 3 times concept. And I bow to his the superior, or at least firstness. And so the point is, I feel like the hijackers would have to be as more entertaining or more amplified, more they'd have to take a page out of the Chris Rock book and out of the Showtime book, because people are so used to being like, oh, somebody's loud, asking for something, asking for money, asking for attention, asking for $1 million or what have you, asking for me to be murdered if I don't listen to them. Oh yeah, I've heard it, just going home from work. And so I feel like they really have to, it would take a lot to get the attention of the most hardcore New York subway system rider.
Okay, I'm going to let you go. Thank you so much for hanging out with us, Myq. June 12th at Helium in Portland. That's a Sunday. And also all over the country. He's touring a lot. Even if you're not in Portland, go see Myq somewhere. MyqKaplan.com, spelled MYQ. The Kaplan, you're on your own. Thank you so much, Myq. It's always great to have you back on the show.
Been a great pleasure. Hope to talk to you and see you soon.
What a great segment that just was.
Delightful.
You had a good time. I like Myq.
Seamless.
Always fun to talk to Myq. I will say Myq reached out about doing the show to promote his show in Portland. And I was like, obviously you remember that you've been on the show twice before. And he was like, yeah.
Obviously I remember that.
I remember that.
Obviously I know who I'm emailing.
We talked to him back in episode 200 something about Next, the Nick Cage movie. And then we also talked to him in the 400s about when we were doing things that were not movies we talked to him about the Savage Lovecast podcast. Both of those in our archive. You can check it out. Okay, but now we got to do some business. First up, we have to rank The Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3 from 1974 in our master list of the best movies of all time of season 5. So where do you guys put The Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3 on the master quality list? And what numbers do you like me to repeat so you know? Oh, a whole top 10?
Yeah, I think that's what I need.
That's so many. So it's now,
10.
Literally,
it's 10
come
of
on.
them. Yeah,
10 is where we about have our quality line, I think.
Right.
So 10 currently is Life Aquatic, and then 9 is Princess Diaries. I'm gonna go up slowly, and maybe you'll be like, oh, here's where it falls. In the Cut is number 8. Battleship Potemkin. Michael Clayton. Greatest movie of all time, Apollo 13, is at number 5. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest is number 4. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, then Edge of Tomorrow, and The Third Man is still in first place as the greatest movie of all time of season 5. Where would you guys rank The Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3?
I am going to go out there and say, was it Princess Bride and then In the Cut?
Princess Diaries is 9. In the Cut is 8.
Princess Diaries. Yeah, I'm gonna go with maybe 8 or 9. That's gonna be my guess. Either one below In the Cut or one after In the Cut.
I'm gonna have to have you give me one number so we can do the math.
Yeah, just do one. Pick
nice
one.
New York movie. Oh Jesus, I'm gonna do 9.
9 it is. Hunter, what do you think?
I'm gonna go above Apollo 13.
Okay.
I like this movie a lot.
Number 5. I'm not laughing because you say that every time, but this time I feel like you mean it.
I do actually mean it.
Ezra, what do you think?
This one is just below Princess Diaries for me, so 10.
10. Interesting. So I think this is where it gets a little, for me, it's always a little bit messy because I think In the Cut is better than Battleship Potemkin, and they are in the wrong order. So I think this should go between those two, but in the other order. But I think this is less good than Michael Clayton, but I think it's more enjoyable than Battleship Potemkin. So I'm going to say 7, and I did not expect to be the second highest number on this panel.
Yeah, that's wild.
That is really interesting. But I think that is my honest opinion, which makes this 7.75 on average, which puts it at 8 behind Battleship Potemkin and ahead of In the Cut. Which I think 8 is the right number, but I think those two movies are in the wrong one. So, but it's ahead of Princess Diaries. I put the wrong one. There we go. Okay, Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3 is now officially the 8th best movie of all time of season 5.
Hell yeah!
All right.
Good
The
movie.
The next order of business, we have a lot of business to do. Next up, Anthony, congratulations on your first ever points. You have now earned 5 big points. Before you tell us what's going to happen with them, if anything, Ezra, can you give me an official score update, please?
Anthony, 4th place, 4. Hunter, 3rd place, 6. Ezra, 2nd place, 7. Alex, 1st place, 8.
Ooh, intriguing. Anthony, you could be in 1st place now. You could jump all the way up to 9th if you betrayed your friends. It took a couple people to get you here. I don't know what deals you've struck. What are you going to do with your 5 points?
I don't believe I actually struck any deals.
Oh,
and
shit.
I believe, really...
I mean, you definitely didn't strike... Look, you didn't strike any deals with me. I'm assuming you did with Hunter.
Yeah.
You did strike a deal with me.
Looks like he expected a deal.
No, I mean, I don't think we had like a straight up deal thing going on, but I am still going to give you points.
No, listeners, you go back to last episode.
Maybe we did have a deal.
Last time I said that I didn't have a deal with somebody.
We even discussed the point spread. We did it very quickly, but we did do it.
Well, I'm out working on like 3 hours sleep right here and now. My memory's a little fuzzy. Right? I had trouble sleeping last night. My insomnia has come back in a big way over the last week. I don't know why. It sucks. But
I can't imagine why the world seems really calming.
Yeah, it's just very, very chill right now. It's like the world is a giant
5 points,
jacuzzi.
Anthony. What do you want to do?
What are you doing?
I'm gonna give Hunter 2 points.
Oh yeah,
and I'm gonna keep the other 3.
That sounds
That's what we talked about. So
I mean, it's a little boring, but I like it.
Ezra, Ezra, what does that do to our score?
Well, we have a really close one now. So
it's a barn burner.
So tied for 2nd, Ezra and Anthony, 7 points. Tied for 1st, Alex and Hunter, 8 points. So
interesting. Really interesting. All right. 2nd order of business. Good work. 2nd order of business. Anthony, that is your first score of the year. Taking Pelham 1, 2, 3 off your list. What is your next target movie?
Well, I had a question. Are we redrawing today?
We're going to redraw for the next order in a moment, and we are also going to get new cards in a moment.
Oh yes.
Shit. Well, I'm not gonna try to game the system or anything like that. I'm gonna go for a movie that I want to see. I've been thinking a lot about this.
Nice.
And I wanted to do something I haven't seen.
Mm-hmm.
I was really considering doing David Cronenberg's Crash for a long time. But that movie is almost impossible to watch nowadays. Not in terms of quality, just like finding it is very, very difficult. It's not streaming anywhere. It's been out of print for a long time. It's a great movie. I've also seen it before. I thought about doing Ang Lee's Lust Caution, which stars Tony Leung, which might help Hunter later. Also another movie I've never seen, but might be a little bit tough to get to. But I'm going to back up. I'm going to use my category. Movie I've always wanted to see. Never gotten around to seeing it. Heard it's very, very good. And I'm going to stick with my boy Cronenberg. So I'm going to get one of the last movies of his I haven't seen, and that is Dead Ringers, starring Jeremy Irons.
Cool.
I do like. I like
always
Jeremy
wanted
Irons,
to see this
but
movie.
I don't think I like Cronenberg.
That's crazy. He's a phenomenal director.
Well, I don't. I said I don't think. I don't actually know.
I think you'll like it. I think Dead Ringers is one of his more accessible.
Isn't he gross? Doesn't he do gross stuff?
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
he's
body horror is kind of one of his
I've decided I'm out this week.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think Dead Ringers. That's what I said. I don't think Dead Ringers is one of. It's not like Existence or Videodrome or like Crash. It is one of his more tame, kind of just character study movies. I don't think it will be that bad. So I'm going more accessible Cronenberg for you guys.
My schedule's just cleared up.
Maybe. Talk to me
potentially. I just really don't like body horror. It's the worst.
Is there body joy or body like what's the opposite of body horror?
Comedy?
Well,
like a Freddy guy or like a American Pie?
Yeah.
In Crash, James Spader fucks Patricia O'Leg's severed limb, a severed leg.
All right, I'm
so
also
that's
busy
like
that
body
week. Sorry,
joy.
Anthony.
That is like a very joyful thing to do.
I don't think so. I don't care for it.
Well, you picked the movie. You definitely only you would pick this. So Go.
That's true.
Well,
Also, if you wanted help
pick
from me,
that.
Anthony,
I picked Dead Ringers. I picked a different move.
Okay. All right. Sorry. Thank you for not picking Crash. Then I guess
I do appreciate that. I was considering, Anthony. I was considering ending our feud, even though you've done nothing to appease me, and you were a real jerk for no reason. But once you scored your points, I thought maybe we could move on. But I do not want to help you pick this movie. I don't think I want to see it.
It's tough though, because you also don't want to see Avengers, so you're gonna have to help someone.
Oh my god, this is the worst. I do want to see Happy Together.
Me.
I'm all about Hunter. Okay, so that's order of business number 2. Order number 3. So it's time for new power cards. It's been another couple of cycles, so we're all going to get new power cards. Here's the way this is going to have to work, though. I spent a lot of time writing this program that would shuffle up and deal power cards, and I never considered the possibility when I was writing it that you would keep some of them and get dealt new ones, and that is well beyond my programming skill to have done in this short of a time, so I didn't bother. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to delete you as owners of the cards you have remaining. If you have cards, and I think a couple of your cards remaining, just write down on a piece of paper or whatever what your other card is, and you still have that card. That's just the easiest way to do it. I have no
idea how to find out where our cards are.
So go back into the spreadsheet I gave you, the power cards, and click on the Anthony tab, and it'll show you your 2 cards.
But I don't know where that spreadsheet is.
I shared it with you, so it's in your docs.
Yeah, I got you, buddy. Here.
We'll get you a link.
There's that. It's here too.
Oh, there we go.
Although, wait, that might be mine. That's fine.
Just go to your tab and find Anthony, look at your cards, and if you have one that's unused, I think you do have one that's unused.
Yes, I do have one that's both. Unused.
Or no, actually, no, I have one left. What do I have? Oh yeah, I do have one. Yeah. Maybe we all used one, and then the other ones were not as useful, I think.
Yeah, mine was like way too complicated to be.
Yeah,
we have added one more.
And I have
thing.
no idea what it means.
We have one new power card that's available. This was suggested by Patrick, and so I've added it to the list, which is called It's Spaghetti Night. It can only be played after another player has chosen a film. Their choice is now void, and instead they must pick a movie directed by Sergio Leone.
Oh, that's fun.
I love that.
Yeah, that's a fun power. It really screws things up and is also whimsical enough, so I think it's great. Okay, so everybody remember what your other card was.
Okay.
Because I'm deleting all of your cards, and you are getting 2 new cards, so you could have up to 3 cards.
Oh, man.
And you're on the honor system for that one. Did it work? Nope, it didn't work. All right, we're going to do power cards off the air. I don't know what happened. It didn't deal any cards. And I clicked the deal the cards button, and I don't know why. And I'm upset
Let's just
about
pretend we got them, all right?
Yes, we'll just
cool. Nice.
Oh, this is good.
My card's really good.
Oh,
why does it not do anything? All right, I'm going to figure this out.
Just give me 10 points. That's crazy, right? That's too OP, right?
I will deal these cards out. You'll get new cards next week. I'm so sorry. So without that, now it's time to redraw order. So it's the last of the month. We got to do a new order. So we have all right. So 1 is going to be this is not the order.
Oh, okay.
Anthony, Hunter, Ezra, Alex. All right. So I'm going to get a random number generator, 1 to 4. Put that over here. In theory, I could be sharing the screen with the people on YouTube who are watching on youtube.com/AlexFalcon, but I don't know how yet. So going first is Anthony. Anthony, you're picking first again. That's your 3rd first pick out of 5. Okay.
Interesting. Consider this at all.
So you can go off of Pelham or
you can reset
Kevin
to
Bacon
a Kevin Bacon movie.
Oh yeah.
Going second is Ezra. So far, this is exactly the same as last time.
So Anthony, then I have a proposition for you if you want.
Okay. This is the great thing about having Ezra around is he did some of the math for you probably. All right. So is it Hunter or Alex going third? It is Hunter. So Hunter is going third. You've been last a bunch. This is my first time being last. I will just say really quick, because my least favorite part of this whole show is having to pick a movie to watch, because I hate decision making. So I just clicked on every person who is in this movie and looked at their filmography and was like, what in here looks like it would be worth watching? I could have gotten in 2 moves to my movie, But it would have involved watching Food Fight again next week, which would be the worst. So I'm glad we don't have to do that. But there are some decent movies in here. And so I'm curious if what you're about to do is going to pick any of the numerous movies that are one move away that I am interested in seeing, including things like The Godfather, All the President's Men, On the Waterfront, Barton Fink, Hudsucker Proxy, and Air Bud. So all of these could be moved in one move, but it is Anthony's choice. Anthony, let's hear what Ezra wanted to say first.
Yeah, let me hear what Ezra's going to say.
Yeah, so if you wanted to reset to a bacon from this, and you've picked your choice of, I think, Hollow Man, Black Mass, Loverboy, Crazy Stupid Love, or Super, then on my pick, I could get to Avengers Endgame.
Ooh. Or Avengers Endgame will not be hard to get to, by the way.
Yes, it is.
It will be very
It'll be hard to get to emotionally. It'll be hard to get into, but
it won't be hard to get to.
Yeah. Why on earth would you do that?
I really did not think I was going to get it again first. So I really did not put any thought in this. But yeah, I have such bad luck with anything. I've never gotten first place in anything in my life that was random or drawn. So to get it more than once is
3 out of 5
freaking me out.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. But so going real fast, looking through here, I could do Psycho. That would be a good one. I think we did that not too long ago on the podcast, though. Yeah. So I'm gonna do a little callback to something. Ooh, Bad News Bears.
Oh yeah,
Bad News Bears on it. That'd be
fun. But I'm gonna do something that should give everyone a lot of good chances to get out of here. It might not be what you expect, but recently on our Discord chat, Alex Falcone said that a movie I really love that I think looks incredible looks like shit. And I need to prove him wrong.
Oh, no. This never works. I just doubled down.
No, because this movie does look very good. And what we're going to do is we're going to travel through Lee Wallace, who plays the mayor in this movie.
Oh, yeah, I know where we're going.
Another movie in which he plays the mayor. And we are going to watch Tim Burton's 1989 Batman.
Oh God!
Of my.
Why on earth are we doing
this? So cool.
Here's the thing. Seriously,
there's nothing less interesting than superhero movies, and Batman is the worst.
This is Batman.
I'm in on this game. I like this now.
I hate Batman so much.
Earnestness. Hey, let me say something. In all earnestness,
the only good part of Batman is when he breaks his back.
Let him talk.
This is easily one of the most important films in my life. Like, to me, Tim Burton's Batman as a child is what made me understand. I mean, Tim Burton in general, I think, is a really great, like, child's first auteur. Like, you know, it's very hard as a kid to wrap your head around what a director does. Tim Burton is
right. We spent a year with you trying to explain it to me as an adult, and I couldn't answer it at the end of the year.
But this movie, Tim Burton's, for all of his movies, are very important to me as a kid. But this movie, Batman '89, from the minute I saw it, it was probably my favorite movie till I was about 13 years old, and I started watching more movies. I absolutely adore this movie. I could probably quote it line from line. I've seen it more times than maybe I've seen any other movie. I think Michael Keaton's incredible in it. Jack Nicholson's incredible in it. The entire cast is phenomenal. The set design, the architecture, everything. Danny Elfman's incredible score.
Yeah.
But I have not seen this movie in a long time.
Me
I'm
too,
very, very excited to rewatch it. Like I said,
I've never seen
one of my favorite movies. Alex, I'm gonna take everything you say very personal next week.
Dude, all the things you've said, it matters to you. That matters to me. Michael Keaton and Jack Nicholson, cool. Tim Burton, yes, I'm on board with all of these things. And if it just wasn't Batman, I would be so on board for this. But to do all of that, to put all of that work into the stupidest superhero of all time, it's just really dumb. I hate this so much. Okay, whatever. We got to do it. We're doing it. Tim Burton's Batman.
We're doing it. That's how the game works, Alex. Too bad.
All right.
I should not have said this movie looks like shit last week.
I know.
And we wouldn't be here.
Watch what you're making fun of next.
Anthony, you haven't known me long enough to know. Probably not going to admit defeat on a podcast. So
for sure not.
You're only going to just make me say it again and hurt your feelings again. We have one more quick thing we got to do. It's already a long show, but we got to get to it. Otherwise, we will feel quadruply guilty And also, I've used all the stings. We're going to loop back to the first one, but it's time to thank Sean again. So as you guys remember from last week, Sean donated the show a while back, and we failed to give him a thank you shout out on the show. And so for Double Guilt May, he reminded us of that and demanded 2 thank you segments. Last week, we did an incredible job that guilted him into donating more money to the show. But today we have to do the second half, and Sean has asked for a round of random compliments. And we are in a hurry. We've gone so long that we're going to do this rapid fire. We're going to go around the horn at least twice. Everyone has to say a random compliment for Sean. I'm going to have whoever looks most confident go first. Ezra doesn't look like it. Anthony's going to start us out. I'll go, Anthony.
Look.
Oh, actually, let's wait. Okay, Anthony, Hunter, me, Ezra. And then we'll go around a second time. Anthony, random compliment for Sean.
Sean, here's the thing. Especially after doing a show every week with these 3 beta cucks, I got to say, I love that you demanded something. That's alpha as fuck. That you demanded that we give you 2 rounds of it. I think
up for yourself.
It's bold. It's brave. Yeah. Look, and I'm saying this. Look, I'm the king of the beta cucks. I'm a spineless little yellow belly coward.
Would you say among the beta cucks you're an alpha cuck? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, I'm the alpha cuck. But I just think, especially there's a lot of passive aggression here. It's a lot of like passing the buck. Not demanding stuff, but I respect you, Sean. You looked Alex straight in the eyes with an email, and you said, "Motherfucker, you were going to give me 2 weeks of things," and I respect that. Good
so
on
strong.
you, Sean.
I want to tag you onto this. I know it's not my turn yet, but I just want to tag onto this that I also admire that you bailed immediately. Those are the 2 things I like. I like someone who stands up to somebody and then who immediately feels guilty and pays you more because of it.
Yeah.
I want someone who sends the food back, but then over tips. That's the key. I want you to do both.
Messed up, and I'm going to double down on proving I'm a good person. That's what you did, Sean.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Hunter, what's your compliment for Sean?
Great daddy energy you've got here, Sean. I want to go ahead and say, what a good attitude you have about these fast, bad compliments that you're getting.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like these not very well thought out compliments that we're just making up off the top of our head. You have such a good attitude about it, and that's what I love about you, Sean.
So true.
Alex, important question. How does he spell his name?
Cian.
Okay. Well, according to Urban Dictionary, Sean is a guy that is amazing, funny, has a lust for adventure. Oh, yep. And his D is so long it drags on the ground. So,
whoa.
Hell yeah,
wow,
Sean.
That's a pretty solid compliment. It's almost not random. It seems almost really specific.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems very
Anthony,
specific, that one.
Round 2, random compliment for Sean.
I watched a very good friend of mine named Sean get married this week.
Yeah,
and
congratulations,
it was
Sean.
a beautiful, beautiful wedding, beautiful ceremony, and the amount of love that was in it was so overwhelming and overflowing that my buddy Sean couldn't hold it. There was too much love. So I have a surplus of love right now for someone named Sean. And I'm going to put that all on this Sean. That's right,
get
Sean.
a little bit of it.
Wow.
You get as much as you can drink, buddy, because it is overflowing. All right.
That's crazy.
That's great.
But
That's really
I believe that.
I love you, Sean. I'm so happy for you.
All Sean's.
I knew it was finally going to happen.
Yeah, congrats.
I'm talking to all Sean's right now.
All
Yeah.
Sean's.
We knew it come through.
Yeah.
All Sean's everywhere.
I'm just so proud of you. I mean, someone at this wedding described my Sean as he's like when you put a Mentos in a Diet Coke and it explodes, but with gratitude. That's him as a person. He is a walking Mentos and Diet Coke of gratitude.
Diet Coke gratitude.
And
I like him.
That's you as well, Sean. Because it's in the name. It's not.
It's in the name. It's built in. Yeah. It comes from that. All right, Hunter.
Yeah, I want to get a little intellectual with mine.
Yeah.
Sean has really great taste in film, and I can tell. Not because Sean listens to this podcast.
No, this is a negative indicator.
No. But because Sean is at that level of confidence in his own excellent, wonderful taste in film that he can listen to 4 objectively inferior film people talk for hours, and it doesn't bother him. You know what I mean?
Unbothered.
He's not annoyed by it. Us not
so
being on his level of film aptitude.
he's VHS, we're Betamax. You know what I mean?
What
I'm saying here?
Yeah.
Betamax cucks? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Of the betas, you're the max.
Yeah.
I like that.
Thanks for the help.
I will say, yeah, my last thing for you, Sean, is that we mentioned your daddy energy before. I will say, in addition to that presence, that you also have a comforting energy about you. In my emails with you and talking about it, you do know how to make somebody feel warm and cared for, and I feel that. And I will actually give you a bonus. This is that was my random compliment, but now a specific one because I'm cheating, and you guys didn't have this information, so you couldn't have given this one. That's why it feels like cheating, and it's not random. But Sean's username on Patreon is very funny. And you guys didn't know that? You haven't emailed with him, so you don't get to know that.
Okay.
But his display name, I will just tell you this. His display name is Sean, I didn't run out of space. You just didn't get the joke. See?
That's
it. That's which is a good one.
Yeah.
It's makes me laugh every time I see it. Also confused the hell out of me the first time. So,
I don't like to start rumors about people, but I heard from a pretty reliable source not too long ago that his D drags on the floor.
I heard that too. That's so crazy.
Did you hear that too?
Heard that.
I heard
that.
It's so weird. I'm like, wow.
Ezra, do you have one last compliment for Sean?
I went to another emergencycompliment.com for emergency compliment generator, and people are really afraid of you at trivia night. So I think it's because you know the answers, not because
so good,
or because you're vaguely threatening. There's something about you at trivia night.
Because you look like you know stuff,
or you wear a dangerous hat.
You have a bad attitude when you lose. Let's go ahead and throw out a little. Let's keep it on balance. You have you're a sore loser. Okay,
maybe you're a naughty boy and a bad boy also. And we come back for donate more next month. Maybe that's what's happening.
Yeah, you
Perfect.
sinner.
That is your segment, sinner. Thank you for hanging out. All right, everybody, that is it for the show. Thanks. This is a marathon. We appreciate you sticking around this whole time. And I would assume that no one did, but you're listening, so you did. So you're also your D-Drags on the ground. If you have thoughts on what we should do with a little bit of extra money, send us email podcast@read-weep.com. If you want to get doubly guilted for donating to the show much too late, go to Metreon.com. You dirty, naughty sinner. And we really appreciate everybody who donates to the show. Thanks to all of our meat buddies. Thanks especially to Hunter, who's getting the vapors from that.
Careful.
Also, thanks, Ezra.
I like that anyone on YouTube will see like all my various grimaces anytime a joke makes you uncomfortable.
It is true because you do more visual grimaces than audio grimaces. So
it's because I don't want to be anything verbally associated with like what has just gone down sometimes, but it has to come out. It has to come out.
All right, and then thank you for being here, Anthony. It's great to talk to you.
God, Ezra, your uncomfortableness totally floods my basement. Let me tell you, it just really gets the juices running.
Just a face. All right. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you next week. Goodbye.
Bye.